Welcome back to Worship Musician Training. Um, this video is all about practicing and applying practical application. Um, all of these things about scales and chords, chord progressions, solfege, natural numbers, etc., rhythm, applying all of that stuff to your practice practically. How do we do that? The first thing to know, progress will be slow. There's a lot of stuff. If you hadn't noticed, there's a lot of stuff in those previous videos to learn. There's 15 major scales. All of those scales have different chords in different functions. There's lots to know about rhythm. Applying solfege takes a while to get. It takes a while. Just take it slow. Enjoy the process. Enjoy that slow process. Savor it, if you will. Number two, part of that slow process is daily practice. If you don't practice every day, if you don't listen to the music that you're performing and presenting in worship, if you don't do that every single day, your progress will be even slower. And then once it gets to that point, it starts to be a drag and it starts to not be fun anymore. It starts to be much less enjoyable. So practice every day, listen to the music every single day to learn it that much faster. Um, Learn one scale per week. This is a tip for applying knowledge of scales to the music that you are playing. Pick a song. Uh, maybe you have 3 songs that are in the same key. Maybe all of your songs are in the same key that week. Um, it doesn't have to be just one song that's in a different key. Um, but pick a song and pick that key to learn. Learn that scale, learn the notes in it, learn the chords in it, learn everything that you can about it. And then next week, you're probably going to see that key pop up again. You're going to see that same scale. You're going to see those same chords. You're going to see them used in the same ways. And then that's just one down, 14 to go, right? Uh, we don't even use all 15 major scales in most worship music. It sticks to or 4, 5, 6 tops. And those ones you're going to get to know really, really well because you're going to be using them every single week. Use the numbers for the chords. The number system that I've taught isn't exactly natural numbers. Natural number system in its true form goes a little bit deeper than the Roman numeral analysis that I've taught in the natural number video. I just refer to it as natural numbers because the function of how we use the numbers to me is what the natural number system is all about. It's all about communicating what chord you're playing, in what key you're playing, and and when you're playing it. Let rhythm be intuitive. This it's hard to do if you feel like you don't have a good sense of rhythm, if you feel like you don't have any rhythm. Then it might be helpful to go to the internet, get some free resources on learning rhythm. Go to YouTube, search for rhythm exercises, tap along, clap along. You don't even have to use the rhythm solfege that I taught in the last videos. That's a really helpful tool, but it can be overwhelming if all you're trying to do is just get rhythm in its most basic form. If you can't feel rhythm, if you can't feel what it feels like to go along with a metronome, I've got a metronome going in my head right now, and I'm going along with it. If you don't know how to feel that, then all of that other stuff can be a little bit too much. Ignore all that stuff. Just get the feeling. Tap your foot along to music that you listen to. Try and sing along to the music that you listen to. All of those aspects are going to have the rhythm in it. And let your rhythm grow. Let your internal rhythm, your internal metronome, let it grow that way. Let it grow organically through listening to the music every single day. That will be a huge part of it. If you struggle with rhythm, maybe that's something to focus on before you focus on scales or chords or anything like that. Anyway, use notation when you need to. If you're struggling with rhythm, maybe it might help to write it out and to use the solfege to really break it up. You could probably get a free MIDI program and input MuseScore, MuseScore, MuseScore.com. That is the notation software that I use. It's free to download. You can just go in, write any rhythm that you want to, hit play, and it will play that rhythm for you in perfect time and at whatever speed you want to. It could be a really helpful tool to be able to input a rhythm and listen back to it right away, and then try and clap along, snap along, do something, vocalize, make some sort of noise, get your body involved in the rhythm, and notation is a great way to be able to do that, especially free notation software. Last thing, and probably the most important thing, when you're practicing, is you should practice with your team's sound in mind. You're not going to sound like Hillsong. You're not going to sound like Vertical. You're not going to sound like Bethel. You're going to sound like one guy with a guitar and a bass and a piano. Hillsong has a lot more than that. Hillsong has millions of dollars to spend every single, on their worship production, which happens every single week. I doubt they spend millions of dollars every single week. But you're not going to sound like that multi-million-dollar production. You're going to sound like a couple of people who are using their own gear, who are building their own knowledge separately on all these core concepts of music theory. And be okay with that. Lean into that sound. Grow your own sound. Learn how you can enhance your own sound just by playing together. That's the most important thing. Let your worship band, your own specific team, have its own specific identity. That is much more valuable than sounding like a track or trying to play a part that you heard on a track. Oh, this guitar part is so cool. I want to play it. But you're playing an acoustic set that week. It probably wouldn't be very appropriate. It might be a little bit distracting. Some people would probably get pretty angry at you for showing off in such an inappropriate way. So here's a practical musical example. Here's How Good Is He. This is the vertical worship version. We just did it in the key of B flat, so that's how I've got it here. So how do we practice all of this stuff? Practice my scale, practice my chords, and get to know the natural numbers. Well, first, probably good to start with the scale. And actually, I've got a handout here that I've made for my own personal students, which just shows the musical alphabet in a nice, clear way. Clear, most of all, is the gaps between each of the notes, which is how we're going to count half steps to build the major scale from the major scale formula. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Start on B flat, whole, half, whole, half. And I've got the major scale for B. Flat, B flat. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. There's my B flat major scale. And I know the notes that are in it, and now I can build the chords from those notes. The one chord is based off B flat. It's going to be a major chord based on the natural numbers. A B flat major chord. B flat, D, and F are the notes that are in that chord. The 4 chord, I'm just going with the primary chords here. The 4 chord is E flat, based on E flat. E flat, G, B flat are the notes that are in that E flat major chord. And I've got the F major chord. F, A, C. There's the F major chord. And I've got the G minor chord. G, B flat, D. 1, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now I know the chords, and I've got some way to play them on my instrument, whatever instrument I happen to be playing. I've just got a guitar because it's easy to hold in front of the camera instead of a piano or something like that. So now I can start practicing the song, knowing the scale, knowing the chords, knowing the notes, knowing all of that stuff, and I can just start going. I'll probably start with the melody. So there's the vocal melody for the first verse right there. How good is he, far beyond what eyes could ever see. Right, I'm messing up, but whatever. I've never done this before. I'm learning the song right now. Start over. How good is he? Okay, there's that part. Far beyond what eyes could ever see. Okay, got that part. Yet he stands in front of me. How good is he? Great. So I can play the melody on my instrument. That's really useful. I can actually do that on stage. That's actually useful information, to be able to play the melody. Probably the most important thing for a piano player or a synth player or a guitar player or something like that. Even a bass player. A bass player might be able to pull out the melody every once in a while. Now let's think about the chords and what am I actually going to play. Thinking about the sound that my team is going to have next Sunday. I've got an acoustic guitar here. Let's just assume I'm going to be playing an acoustic set. So I've got B flat, G minor, E flat, F. How good is he? Far beyond what eyes could ever see. Yet he stands in front of me. How good is he? Right, and I can start applying those chords to the lyrics and practicing whatever part I'm playing in context of knowing, okay, it's gonna be an acoustic set. Maybe I'll have a piano with me. What are they gonna do? Well, they're probably gonna play the melody. They're probably gonna play some low chords or something like that. So I probably don't want to play, the lowest and loudest sounding chords on my guitar. Maybe I'll probably want to stay up a little bit higher, maybe. How good is he? Far beyond what eyes could ever see. And then B flat. And he stands in front of me. Right. And there's also that sus chord right there, which I could ignore or not. Sus could sound really cool there. All these things I'm thinking about as I'm practicing, and I'm thinking about them in the context of the key. And I'm thinking about them in the context of what am I going to sound like on Sunday. I'm not turning on the vertical worship, recording and listening to it and thinking, oh, that guitar part, I need to play that guitar part. No, I'm not thinking about that at all. I've got an acoustic guitar. I'm playing acoustic set next week. I've just got to play the chords. And then F major, right? Yes, sus4, sus2, whatever it ends up being. Right, So there's the practical music application. The best part about this process is that you hopefully will really only have to do it 1 or 2 times, maybe 3, maybe 4 times for this key. Until you've got it like memorized, rock solid. I know the key, I know the scale, I know the chords, I know how to play those chords on my instrument, and I can play in a melody. I can play the melody in that key. All of this super helpful. I hope it's helpful to you as you are practicing.